Meet Shah Rukh Khan, famously labeled as the king of romance. Although it is actually very hard to truly describe how big of an icon this guy is, it is safe to say that all the known A-class actors in the West would not even come close to the impact Shah Rukh Khan has made to his audience. And let me tell you, his portrayal of male masculinity is actually a realm of his own. Which is why I'd like to show you how you can take inspiration from this king of romance to better your own relationships. And not only that, use him as an example to exude complete irresistibility to make people stay in love with you, or rather stay loyal to you, or at least increase all your chances. This is going to be a bit of a long analysis on the matter though, so I'd like you to sit back, relax, and slowly digest information from A to Z, following the step-by-step roadmap that I've carefully laid out for you, as this video might be the most important one you will ever watch, for those few of us still wanting long-lasting relationships. Step 1. Looks. All biases aside, let's take a look at this guy. With a big nose, relatively average height, and such unconventional looks, it's outstanding how such a man became the leading symbol of romance in a world full of set beauty standards.
The greatest lover the country has ever seen. With this face. Which has alternately been described as ugly, unconventional, and strangely, not chocolatey enough.
What's very nice about SRK as well is that he is a prime example of someone that started off from an average looking guy to having such a clear glow up as years went by. I mean, take a look at this. What the hell is that? In short, to improve his looks, he implemented the big 5 pillars of looks maxing just like any other man should. Working out, hairstyle, decent fashion sense, well-kept hair, and something that people don't mention a lot, having expressive eyes, which we will get into it more later. Nevertheless, as you probably heard numerous times on those looks maxing videos, these 5 components are what actually makes a man physically attractive. However, too many fail to realize that the path to self-improvement only starts here. The real struggle starts when you start working on your inner self, which is why you will need to implement this following step. Step 2. Perfect the embodiment of the perfect lover.
What makes for a great seducer is very simple. I can summarize it very simply. You are outer directed.
Imagine having a partner that whenever you're with them, their only goal is to make sure you have the most romantic experience you ever had in your fucking life. We call this type of partner the ideal lover. You see, most of us had dreams that never came to fruition. As a young boy, I always wanted boxes after boxes of Lego toys, but my parents could not afford it. And now that I've grown up, I do have the ability to buy it, but no longer have the will for it. Similarly, the world has denied us many of our dreams and abilities. And now, imagine having someone that elevates you. Someone that encourages all your dreams and helps you make them become a reality. Someone that appeals to your higher self. This idea of the ideal lover comes from the book The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And when I read this book, I got so interested as it mentions how this is truly one of the rarest traits any man can have. It's about letting go of the notion of oneself and surrendering yourself for her pleasurable experience. It's not about you, it's about her. And this will all start become much easier if you start implementing this one trait. Stop wanting an outcome. Stop looking for an outcome. It's not about sex. It's not about a second date. It's about truly enjoying the process of courting her. Sure, deep down you may want all that. It's only normal to want desires. But it's about channeling all your hidden desires and redirecting them into your eyes and your body language. And of course, your overall purpose, which I will make it more clear later on. But this is also why millions of women who watch Shah Rukh Khan seem to be completely enchanted by him. The whole image of Shah Rukh Khan, at least on screen, is about taking his woman into his arms and giving all his love to her, which in turn makes her feel loved back. In fact, after the release of the biggest romantic movie in Indian history, many men ended up hating him as he single-handedly set new standards of how a lover should be. He created the image of a man who speaks with love, with a sense of tenderness and adoration. Because the ideal man would be a foreigner to oppressive patriarchy by believing in the freedom to love and being able to shower his beloved with unabashed affection. Nowadays, especially among men, we are so careful with our words and moves that we often find safety in our male pride, which in turn often leaves our beloved to feel unloved. And even worse, in the modern day, even if you do happen to be loving with your woman, it is unsure that she'll necessarily appreciate your loving. Most unfortunately, most people are so wrapped in their own minds, egos, insecurities, and desires that they are incapable of portraying and appreciating the ideal lover. But the truth is, now more than ever, humanity needs loving men. If you want more conviction on the matter, let me read you a line from The Way of the Superior Man by David Data, a book which I highly consider as a modern-day blueprint on masculinity. In our modern world, a man's presence, his depth of awareness, is his most valuable asset. Men are spiritual beings of love. However, guys, for the love of God, please do not make these big 3 mistakes that guys make when trying to implement the ideal lover. Mistake number 1. Confusing sensuality with sexuality. A very interesting fact about Shah Rukh Khan is that he has never kissed on screen, which is insane when you think about it from the lens of the West. How can you make romantic movies and be labeled as the king of romance and never having a shred of sex scene? While it has mostly to do with India's rules and regulations regarding censorship on screen, it's actually incredible seeing these movies fully embodying the sense of love and romance, sometimes even better than Hollywood, and that without even doing the deed. And the secret lies with sensuality over sexuality. And this concept is actually hyper important when it comes to our day-to-day relationships. Hear me out, okay? We men can pretty much sleep around with any woman who we deem as attractive. But women, they are not the same. Most need an emotional connection first. So think about it for a second. Taking a sexual approach when you first meet her might rather push her away. But if you take a more chill, calm, and sensual approach, your chance might very well be higher. And the same concept is even more true when it comes to long-term relationships. Think about it, okay? Why is that? That in so many relationships where the couple have been together for years, women sometimes no longer want to sleep with their partner. There's always a phase where she doesn't feel like sleeping with him. Why is that? My guess, because she needs to feel loved first. She needs to have that mood first. Mistake number 2, lacking self-respect. My brothers in Christ, please listen to this. The approach of the ideal lover is not about pleasing her by downgrading yourself, alright? This is not about being a simp. This is not about being nice. Self-respect goes above anyone. It's not about sacrificing yourself for her. It's about letting go of your desires and solely focus on loving her while setting boundaries. Your love for her should never fall above your own well-being. And trust me, she'll come to respect you for that eventually. And mistake number 3, you can come across as creepy or even needy if done incorrectly. Guys, I once had a girlfriend that I used to shower her with dozens of gifts and love, only for her to break up with me by wanting to stay friends. Look, truth is, you can shower her with all the love and care that you have in your heart, but if she's not gonna value what you have to offer, move on before she does, bro. Again, this all falls into having self-respect. Be the ideal lover to whom it's worth being loving for. You see, all in all, there's still a huge misunderstanding in the online male community that will not let you be as loving as you want, which is the nature of the next step. Step 3, be expressive. The concept of men, discipline, and stoicism has taken over the internet by storm in the last few years. And the subject has blown up for a good reason. The world needs strong men. And I don't deny the importance of stoicism in men. I myself own some books related to the subject. However, as I've been in the dating life for quite some time now, I now realize that the lack of display of emotions and feelings in relationships has its huge downsides when it comes to long-term relationships. Even in popular media, male icons are often portrayed as these beings that show restraint in their emotion. However, notice how Shah Rukh Khan's eyes glister with desire and emotion as he faces his woman. The admiration and adoration he feels towards the woman he talks to can instantly be seen in all of his films, and women have longed for that for years in their men. Your partner wants you to look at them with such depth and such love, you have no idea. Especially if you've been with her for quite some time. Now, am I telling you to cry in front of her like a baby? Am I telling you to fixate her like a fucking creepster? No. Remember, sensuality over sexuality. Self-respect above anyone. Rather, desire her for the person she truly is, not for shallow reasons. Long-term relationships are based on admiring on each other, and that over and over and over again. I want you to admire her and make her feel admired. If you can truly get this concept and apply it, your relationships would skyrocket. And you can either use your eyes to make her feel admired, or you can use this next step. Step 4. Use body language. Now, one cannot talk about Shah Rukh Khan without mentioning his signature pose. His one move has single-handedly captured the hearts of millions, heck, billions. But why? Doesn't this shit kind of look silly? On the contrary, actually. Notice how the typical man is portrayed. He is serious, he is macho, inaccessible, and has usually crossed arms. Now let's take a look at Shah Rukh Khan. By adopting a posture of open arms, he cultivates a sense of accessibility, warmth, and a willingness to face his torso to life.
So seduction is about being open to the other person to the extent where you can even fall in love, you can fall under their spell. And the sense of letting go of your ego, letting go of your defensiveness, and letting another person enter your world is being seduced.
Now, am I telling you to copy his move like a lame ass? No, no, please. But I want you to use it as inspiration to radiate love and positivity to your day-to-day life. In a world where everyone plays hard to get, having such occasional moments where you're more accessible by showing with your entire body that you love her would make you stand out from her other exes, especially in long-term relationships. Picture a very typical situation where she asks you if you love her. The typical man would say, "Baby, of course I do." "Do you? Do you?" But a true loving man would make her feel loved by lifting her up, throwing her to the sofa, giving her a genuine kiss to her forehead before saying the 3 words to her ears. Using your body language is the key to make her feel loved. I'm gonna hit you with the hard truth. Unfortunately, there will be times where your love will not be enough. This is the reason why so many relationships fail. Because sometimes the world and your woman expects you to be strong, which leads to the next step. Step 5. Fulfill Dharma using integrity. While I was making this video, I've come across ancient Hindu concepts dating back from 500 years BCE, and what I found was life-changing. In my research, I've discovered that the ancient Hindu civilization had 4 main components to have a balanced and fulfilling life. Fulfill your artha, which is to acquire wealth; kama, the pursuit of sexual desire, love, and longing; moksha, the fulfillment of freedom and liberation; and dharma, where you expected to fulfill your duties with integrity and devotion, which is the one we're going to tackle today. You see, no matter what movie Shah Rukh Khan is in, it seems he is often faced with a somewhat absurd goal to fulfill, and his characters keep fulfilling these absurd promises. Take this 2009 movie, for example, My Name is Khan, where he has to go meet the frickin' president of the United States of America to simply tell the man,
"My name is Khan, and I'm not a terrorist."
Or take the DLJ, for example, arguably one of the greatest romantic movie ever fucking made, where his character has to convince the scary father of his beloved to marry her instead of simply eloping with her.
यहाँ तुम्हें अपनी दुल्हन बनाने के लिए आया हूँ, और तुम्हें यहाँ से ले जाऊंगा तभी जब तुम्हारे बाबूजी खुद तुम्हारा हाथ मेरे हाथ में देंगे.
And through all the odds, he keeps his goals. However, let's be real. At the end of the day, these are but movies. On paper, it's very simple. Make your character say, "I'm gonna do X," and then at the end of the script, make him fulfill X. In real life, however, keeping your promises is much more difficult. Let's take a quick and easy example like taking out the trash. Your girl, at the end of the day, might ask you to take it out. And truth is, once in a while, you might miss doing it. It's only human to make mistakes. And good thing is, she might very well tell you that it's okay. She understands, especially for those first few times. But the more you do it, the more she might lose respect for you. She might lose trust in you. The same goes for those empty promises that you tell yourself. Because after repeated failed promises, you start losing trust in yourself. There will be times where you will have no one else but yourself to turn to. Will you even end up trusting your own direction and clarity in life? This is one of the most important traits for long-term relationships, and you must always practice to get better at following your own words. And the easiest way for a man to follow his own words is to have a purpose, which leads to the next step. Step 6. Have a purpose greater than yourself. If you have a clear sense of direction in life, others will trust your intuition and follow you along the way. But this isn't like the typical goal like I want wealth or I want to be happy. Purpose is the true why you're doing it. What's the real reason for your fight? In most Shah Rukh Khan movies, his character often fights for something greater than himself. Whether it's to fight for his country, to save his people, or even something as grounded as earning your parents' recognition, or making a woman happy, or even something as simple as staying true to your values, his character often realizes that at the end, it's not about him. On the surface, for example, it might look like you're pursuing wealth, but no. In reality, you seek freedom. Freedom for yourself and freedom for your loved ones. So let that inner desire catapult you to greatness. If you do all these previous steps correctly, you will be led to the hardest but the most satisfying step of all. Step 7. Be self-obsessedly in love with life. When you reach a satisfactory level of fulfillment in your day-to-day life, you will notice yourself having a profound appreciation for life and existence. When I mean be self-obsessedly be in love with life, as cheesy as it sounds, it also means be in love and at peace with yourself. Man, never forget yourself. If you have reached this far into this video, it means there is a sweet authenticity in you. There will be times where the world challenges your authenticity. You will be tested your whole life. That's the challenge of life. But we don't have to face those challenges alone. That's why I've included a link in the description below to help you equip the tools that you need to face the challenges of relationships and life. A good first step, of course, is to love our partner correctly. For someone like you who reached this far into this video, you know how bloody important relationships are for your future wife, for yourself, for your kids, and thus mankind. So if you're interested, please join me in this journey of self-discovery where we learn how to be better with our partners, where we help the world become 1% more loving every single day. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.